Now, before we're finished coding our page, we want to add the Facebook pixel. And for those of you who are just watching this tutorial, not the other tutorials, what we have done essentially is we have created a beautiful homepage for a pet food slash products website. As you can see, we have cat products, we have dog products, we have bird products, we have an about page, we have an adorable cat that's linkable, which goes to a secondary page, which hasn't really been built out yet, but that's okay. This would be the second stage in our funnel. This is the top of our funnel. And just imagine if we had built out the rest of this page, we would have a cute little dog in a bowl and a cute little bird maybe in a bowl with some descriptive information. And each of those links would take you to a cat or a dog or a bird product page. So we've built out these pages, but now what we want to do is we want to create a pixel, or place our pixel, and we want to create standard events for the funnel that we've created. Now, we only have 2 stages in our funnel, but play a game of pretend with me and assume that we had some sort of a catalog page that then led to a cat bowl, which then had an add to cart button, which, you know, the full funnel could be there. How do you place standard events and the pixel in the appropriate places for in a real-life application? In this case, we want to create it for this particular web page, this content that we're looking at now. So the first step really is to go into Ads Manager, and for a lot of you, this is going to be review, so just hang tight for a second. So I'm going to go into Ads Manager, and I'm going to find my pixels site, and if I hadn't, obviously if I hadn't set up the pixel yet, then I would create it. But what I can do is I can go into my pixel here. Now just assume this said like Cat & Co. or something ridiculous like that, right? So I'm going to click on that, and I'm I'm just going to do this. I'm going to call this. I'm going to try to do this. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Let's refresh. This is what happens when you do stuff. Let's try that again. Cat & Co. pixel. Don't want anybody to be confused. All right, then this is my Cat & Co. pixel. I'm going to put it in my Cat & Co. website. I've already created this pixel, but if I go over here to set up, I can go through this process. And the reason I'm doing this is so I can show you how to use the wizard that is available to every single person to create standard events really, really nice and simply. So I'm going to click on Setup, and it's going to go through this process again. Now, we're not going to use an integration or tag manager. We're actually going to manually install the code ourselves. So I'm going to click on that, and the first thing that I see is, well, this is where you're going to place it. And where does Facebook say to place it? It says place your pixel right at the end of the head tag. And this is really important. Do you see how this says head? And do you see how this says header code? This can be confusing because there's actually a tag called header, and that's not what we want to use. But more on that later. We're looking for the head tags, right? So I'm going to copy that code, and then I'm going to go into my page, and this is my top level page. This is the page we were just looking at. And I'm going to find not my header tag, but my head tag, and this is where I'm going to place my code, right? I'm going to place it not at the beginning, but according to Facebook, I'm going to place it right there. So I will just hit paste. There's my Facebook pixel code. Now, I don't need to install a standard event because this is the top of my funnel. This is just a run-of-the-mill page view. I don't need to segment anybody out in any sort of way. They're not looking at a product. They're not adding anything to cart. So we're just going to go with the base pixel code. So I'm going to save this, And then I'm going to go back to my code, Cats & Co. Now notice there's no Facebook pixel here, right? But if I hit refresh, it shows up. There's my page view. Don't have to worry about microdata. So everything worked great. So now people, when they land here, they're like, all right, I want to learn about cats. And so they're going to click on this or on cat food, and that's going to take them to the next page. This is further down the funnel. And this would be the appropriate page on which to put a standard event. So let's do it. I'm going to go back to my code, and I'm going to choose my cats page. Now notice that I don't have my Facebook pixel placed there, and there's no Facebook pixel placed here. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go back to my ads manager, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. Now this is where you start to add standard events. And one of the beautiful things about the way that Facebook works now is they actually have this wonderful wizard that says, which standard events do you want to use? And then it will generate that standard event code and even tell you where to place it. That's different than the way it used to be. It used to be much harder to place standard events, but it's a lot easier now. So if I had multiple pages here, I would click purchase, and I would pick maybe add payment info and add to cart. The only thing that I have right now is just view content. And that's fine. You can always come back. And so I'm going to scroll down, and it's going to say, well, what's the conversion value for this particular, page? Now, this is not anything you should sweat too much, right? The answer to that question is going to vary by advertiser. The conversion value is going to be something that they are able to determine. You need to ask them, what is somebody landing on that particular page, that product page? For us, it's the page where we have our cat food. What is the value of somebody landing there? Now, if they say, I don't know, then you need to say, hey, it's time to have a conversation with your sales director. And you and your sales director and your web analyst need to get together and say, how often do people, how many people land on this page, let's say in a month? And how often do the, let's say, 300 people or 3,000 people that land on the page, what percentage of the time do they convert? And what is the average purchase that they make when they do purchase something? With those key pieces of information, they can calculate the conversion value or the value of somebody landing on this page, which is a view content page. So it's really going to depend on the advertiser. But it's a really good idea to add a conversion value at this point, because this data will then go into your ads manager when you're running ads, and it's going to tell you essentially your return on investment, and that's something marketers really want to know. So let's just say that we've determined that the conversion value for landing on this page is 20 cents. And the currency is not a dollar sign, it's USD, or in the case of Canada, it would be CAD. Now, I can add another parameter. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this is going to say product content ID or content type. What I really want to add is a product ID and a product type. I'm going to do that later. I'm going to show you how to do that and why that might be important in just a moment. But we have these parameters, and I'm going to scroll down, and it is going to create for me not only the standard event view content, but the parameters on which I'm going to be able to create future audiences. So I will be able to say, for example, when I add some more information here, please create an audience for me of everybody that landed on the cat page. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. But the first thing that I want to do is I want to grab this code. Now, where do I put it? Let's scroll down and see what Facebook says. What Facebook says is, don't put the standard event within the head tag. Put it right after the body tag. It goes here. So we want to fire that code, the base code, pixel code here, and then the body is going to load, and then right after that, we're going to place the standard event. So let's do it. I'm going to go back, and I'm on my cats page, and there's my body. Now again, this is not the head tag, that's the header tag. And I'm going to paste my standard event. Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to add some more information here. And this is something your advertisers can do as well. I am going to type product underscore type colon, and then I'm going to type cat food. And actually, I'm just going to do cat. I just want to create audience of people that went to pages that are related to cats because, oh, I don't know. Let's do cat food. Why not? Why not? All right. And then I'm going to put a, what is this thing called, comma? And then I'm going to type product underscore category. And I'm going to type, now what is this? This is cat food, but it goes under the broad category of, let's say, food. We sell multiple things on our website. We sell cat food, dog food, we sell bird food, we sell cat accessories and dog accessories and bird accessories. Maybe I want to create an audience of people who have cats and dogs who are interested in food. By creating these categories, I'm now going to be able to create segmented audiences of people that are interested in specific things. So let's just do that. Now, we put the standard event here, but we have not yet included the Facebook pixel, and you need both of those things. So I'm going to go back up here to my original, and I'm going to grab that Facebook pixel code, and I'm going to place it exactly where we placed it before, at the end of the head tag. And I'm going to hit that, and I'm going to hit save. Now, I'm going to go back to my page, and remember, this is the second page down, right? So I was here before, and I said, oh yeah, I'm interested in cat food. And I select there. And what happens, but my Facebook pixel helper is telling me there are three standard events. So I'll place that, and sure enough, there's my page view in the base pixel code. But this is my view content code, and I'm going to select on that. And what you see here are these custom parameters around which I'm going to be able to use to create audiences. So for when somebody lands on this particular page about cats and cat food, the value to that I determine is 20 cents. The product category is food, and the product type is cat food. Now let's say I get 10,000 videos or 10,000 views, pixel fires in a month, 10,000 unique visitors in a month. They're all coming for different products. Some are interested in bird food, some are interested in cat food, some are interested in dog food. But by placing these standard events with parameters, I will now be able to create very targeted audiences around general interest. I can create audiences around people that are just interested in cat food, and I can also create 10% discount audiences of those people that maybe have multiple pets and just want a discount code for food in general. That's going to be incredibly useful. It takes a little bit of time to set up, but the other thing about standard events and parameters is they are more accurate than URL rules. So of course you can use URL rules to create these sorts of audiences, but this is going to be more accurate. And more importantly, as I've mentioned to y'all before, if a web developer comes along and changes anything related to the website in terms of the structure of that website, everything breaks. All of those audiences, all of those URL rules go away. But if we take the time to place standard events and parameters, that doesn't happen. So let's try to see what this does in application. Just a quick reminder, we have our View Content tab. We have a product category of food and a product type of cat food. What can we actually do with this? So I want to first go into Ads Manager, and then I want to create an audience based on the segmented product categories and product types. And remember, the product type is cat_food. The product category is food. Cat & Co pixel, and I'm going to create my custom audience. And then I'm going to select not all website visitors, but I want to select from my events. Now, the event that I want to choose from is what? View content, right? Because we didn't put any standard events on our page view standard event. We put it on view content, so I'll select that. And then next, I want to select Refine By, and I want to refine by URL parameter. But instead of a URL, I'm going to select my parameter. And my parameter is going to show up here, and I want to choose, in this case, I want to choose product type. Now, do you remember the product type for our page? Let's just go back and make sure. The product type, let's go to cat products, and let's look at our parameter for view content. The product type was cat_food. So, if I want to create an audience with everybody in the last 30, 60, 90 days who came to that particular cat food page, I would say product type contains cat_food. And I can further refine that by adding also something else. I could say value and then equals 2, right? Let's say we had a really stupidly expensive cat food made for very special cats that should never receive the sort of special treatment they're receiving. You know, stupidly expensive. It's more than the 20 cents. It's worth $2 to us. I could create an audience of those people. But right now, what I want to do is create an audience of people who landed on pages that are on a specific page about cat food. It's at this point that you start to see the power of parameters placed on standard events, and Facebook has made that really easy to set up. Instead of just creating broad audiences of people who came to my website in the last 30 days, I can create segmented audiences of people that came to specific pages worth a specific amount of money to me. And I can continue to add these parameters until I have a highly segmented audience, if that's what I'm interested in, or not. Now, obviously, the usefulness of these pages is really going to be premised on what kind of traffic you're getting. So these are all things that you want to ask advertisers when you're having conversations with them about standard events, or pixels, or parameters. But the actual process of getting a standard event placed and a parameter placed, we did it in just a few moments. It's really all not that hard. And your success is really going to be based on how you can convince advertisers how simple it is. And as you've seen, it's not very hard, especially for a developer. And the power of it, the reason for doing it is very high. The payoff is very high because you can go beyond just creating general audiences. Now, you might have advertisers who say, look, why don't I just use URL rules to do all this? That's so much easier. And they can. And I would say that if you have a very small website and you don't suspect that it's going to grow, maybe your business just isn't going to grow, you're not going to add more products, you just aren't going to get bigger, then it makes sense to use URL rules, it makes sense to use things like custom conversions, all that's just fine. But if you're starting a business and it is growing, and your pages are growing, it makes sense to place standard events early because they're more accurate than URL rules. And if any developer comes along and slightly changes how your how your website is organized, then all of those saved audiences are going to go away. We have to start over. The standard events and the parameters is a one-time expense. A little harder to set up, but the payoff is huge. And this is a pitch product that you can talk to people about. This is that those advanced events are all are all included when it comes to standard events and parameters that's placed on those standard events. All right, so hopefully that was a simple explanation. Please reach out to your team lead or to me if you still have questions, and I hope you found this helpful.